I want to introduce a good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for probably 5 or 6 years now. His parents are here tonight. They are truly a blessing. His brothers are here tonight. Some friends are here tonight. I want to introduce you to Reverend Caleb Shereen of Abbeville. Why don't you stand on your feet and give him a hand and thank the Lord for him. He's got a word tonight. He won't be before you long. He's going to hit it and quit it. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, the power of God is in this place. Come on, give him a hand one more time. Brother Caleb.
If you would stay standing, if you would for a second just lift your hands and pray in the Spirit. Man, God said there's a deepness that you entered into. You've entered into the river of glory. He said there's a birthing that has come to your life. He said you've known about it. He said now the baby is crowning. He said here goes the travail. He said you've been through it before though. He said you know about it. He said but it's coming again. He said it's coming again and I'm releasing you into greater in your life, says the Spirit of God. By His power. Tobias, when you said there's a shaking happening in the earth, God said, the reason why I've broken, see, this oil spill is not just an accident. The reason why I've broken is because I have to shake the things in your life. God said you stood upon things and you put things and you stayed in a place that got uncomfortable. But He said, I have to move you out of your comfort zone. I'm breaking the things that you stood upon and I'm causing you to stand upon greater. I'm causing you to trust in me and see my face. You may be seated. The message tonight is entitled New Territory. I believe tonight, for some of you, you're stepping into the greatest point of your life. You're coming into the greatest hour of your life. The enemy has held you back, but I've come to tell you no longer. If you would turn with me to Matthew 4, 27 and 29. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come walk on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Look at Peter. He was standing in the boat. And the Lord said, Lord, if it be you, bid me to come walk on the water. What was Peter doing? Peter was actually saying, God, I traveled by boat for too long. He was saying, God, I've been in this territory of my life for some time now. And I realized, God, that you've not caused me to just grow in one area and stay in that area of my life. But you've called me to step out into new territory. And Peter saw the Lord, and he was saying, Lord, I can't have what I've had in the natural any longer. I can't stay with this same glory that I stayed with that has been here from last year. God, I see you and I need something greater in my life. So God, I'm just going to trust you just a little bit. And I'm going to step out onto the water in my life. And I'm going to believe the word that you have given me. Because God spoke a word to Peter. And Peter said, listen, there was voices behind him. How many of you know the disciples may not have been agreeing with Peter? The disciples could have been saying, well, Peter, you don't understand. No man has been here before. You're trying to go where no man has ever gone. The waters look like they're topsy-turvy. You may sink if you go onto that water. But Peter said, no, boys, I've got a word from the Master. And he realized that I see this man that the prophet spoke of old. And if I have a word from him that tells me I can move past self, I can move past the realms of this world, and I can move into new territories if he says I can. Let me tell you something. The voices in your boat, you have to watch the voices in your boat. Every single one of us in our lives at one point or a moment will be called to step out into greater territory in our lives. But there are voices by strategic plan by the enemy that are coming to your life that are trying to deter you from the things that God has for you. If you need a miracle in your life, watch out what voices you listen to. Some of you, you have dreams, you have visions that can bless you financially, but because of voices that you've let stay in your boat and listen to you, because of voices you let in your boat deter you from the Word of God, you stayed in your boat, you stayed in a place of complacency. And I decree tonight that it's time to step out.
Come on.
And believe God.
Yes, yes.
The visions that God has given you, it's time to step out and believe. Some of you with miracles in your life. A couple of years back, I had a surgery on my body. And I was supposed to have a second. I went through with the first surgery, and I said, I'm not doing this again. So the second surgery, I stood up and I said, God, I'm believing for a miracle from you. And there was voices in my boat, family members, who I had to watch out for.
Yes.
I remember we went to my aunt's house and she asked me about the second surgery. And my dad stood up, my dad spoke up and said, he's not going to have the second surgery. And she kind of looked at us kind of funny because she doesn't believe in the whole miracle working God thing. And she said, okay, that's good, but you'll need to go see a doctor. I said, I understand that. I'm going to see a doctor, but he's going to tell me I'm killed. I went into the doctor's office. He checked my first surgery, and he said it's healed good. He went to check me for my second surgery. He said the thing's completely healed. He said you don't need the second surgery. My grandmother, who was there at the time, said, I just don't get it. How do you not need the second surgery? And I stood behind her and said, if you only know who I serve. I serve the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. His name is Jesus, and it's not lost power. The blood that was shed 2,000 years ago at the cross is still healing, still saving, still delivering today. And I believe that if He's said, He'll be faithful to do it. And I'm not going to be stirred by the things of this world, but I'm standing up and I'm taking the word of the Master, and I'm going to begin to walk in healing, in miracles, in salvation. I'm believing Him in whatever He says in my life. I'm walking in it.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
He saw Jesus as more than a man. He understood He was standing in the presence of the living God. Peter was the one who said, when Jesus said, who do men say that I am? He said, you are the Christ, Son of the living God. Peter had a revelation that no man had had of Jesus before. And he stood upon it. Though Peter may have fallen in some areas of his life, he stood upon it. And he believed, God, what you've spoken, what you told me, I believe I can do it. it's ministry, some people are believing God for ministry right now. God's saying, I'm calling you out of your boat, and if you only but stand, you say, but it's God. It looks foolish to me. I don't understand it. No one believes the word that you have given me. I'm standing alone. But God said, if you take that word and you begin to walk with it, that word will lift you above the waters and the line. Peter, unlike any of the disciples, understood if the Lord gave him a word, Jesus would be faithful to see that that word comes to pass in his life, that he would not fail him. If God gives you a word,